Okay, we're going to analyze some of the data that we collected in the lab using an Excel spreadsheet. You can see I've gone ahead and put my data into the Excel spreadsheet. One quick note, we want to make sure that we put our independent variable, that is the one going on the x-axis, in the first column, and our dependent variable, that is the one going on the y-axis, in the second column. And just think about it when you're doing XY coordinates and math. It's always X first, Y second. Once you have your data in your spreadsheet, then we can go ahead and select the data that you want to be graphed. Come on over to the Insert menu, and we need to select which type of graph we're going to use. In this class, most of the graphs are going to be XY scatter. Those are the ones that show relationships between two variables. And so I'm going to go ahead and select that. We'll just do a regular XY scatter. You don't need to do any of the ones with lines. Once you have your graph in your spreadsheet, now we need to just kind of fix up a couple of things. Of course, we want a good chart title, and then we'll also want our X and Y axes labeled. And so I'm going to come up here and select this menu where it says Add Chart Element. And then I'm going to select Axis Titles. I'm going to go right to More Axis Title Options. And now it automatically puts X and Y on there. And so let's call this something that seems appropriate for the data that we collected, mass versus volume. And let's go ahead and say which liquid that we did. You can fill yours in. And then the x-axis, we've got volume, and we measured that probably in milliliters, and we've got our y-axis. We want to make sure that we have that labeled, and we measured that in grams. So now we have our axes labeled, we have a good title. The last thing that we need to do is we need to get a best fit line for our data. So I'm going to come back up to this Add Chart Element menu, and we want to, the best fit line is called a trend line in Excel, and I'm going to select this option, and I'm going to go straight to where it says More Trend Line Options. When you do that, it automatically selects a linear trend line, which is the one that we would want in this case. It seems most appropriate for our data. And then once you have your trend line on there, we want to know what the equation for that line is. And so I'm going to just check mark this box over here on the right menu where it says Display Equation on Chart. And the equation automatically pops up. Sometimes the equation is right over the line, so you can go ahead and grab it and move it to wherever you want on your graph so that it's easier to read. And that's really it when it comes to making a graph from some simple data like that. Then once you have your graph, you could go ahead and print it if you want to print it, and then put it into your lab notebook along with your data. That's always a good thing to do. But if you have any questions, make sure you're asking those questions, whether you ask a classmate or you ask me. Get your questions answered. All right.